A traditional fighting game is built on constant, aggressive momentum. Two players lock into a high-octane battle of reflexes, where rapid strikes and punishing combos dictate the pace of a one-on-one fight. Asymmetrical horror runs on completely different logic. Games like Dead by Daylight place four heavily outmatched survivors into a slow, tense environment of evasion. You don't fight back. You manage scarce resources and hide. Putting an inherently aggressive fighting game boss like Street Fighter's M. Bison into a world built on static barriers and looping wooden pallets presents a difficult design challenge. You have to find a way to let these two incompatible systems interact. If you strip away Bison's arcade-style power and mobility, he loses his identity. But if you let him keep his unrelenting combo pressure, he breaks the balance of a horror game that relies on the survivor's ability to create space. The Dictator conceptual killer profile acts as a bridge between these genres. It solves the friction by taking fighting game fundamentals and turning them into specific slasher abilities. In fighting games, the neutral game is the phase where players test each other's range, trying to safely close the distance and land that first crucial strike. This concept maps the Psycho Crusher to the chase, defining it as a high-speed, long-distance dash. Colliding with a survivor deals damage and inflicts the hemorrhage status effect, making the getaway more costly for the victim. Standard survivor counterplay relies on terrain, using windows and dropped pallets to force the killer to take a longer path. The Dictator's double knee press addresses this directly. It's a forward leap that automatically vaults dropped pallets at high speed to maintain pressure. Additionally, survivors in the terror radius accumulate psychostrain, suffering a 20% vault penalty at maximum strain, making escape less reliable. By translating Bison's gap-closing mechanics this way, the killer neutralizes the primary safety net of a survivor, the ability to use the environment to create distance. Fighting games often feature a meter, a resource built through aggression that eventually unlocks a character's most devastating special attacks. The horror translation is the psycho gauge. This meter fills as the Dictator damages survivors or maintains an active chase, rewarding the killer for staying offensive. A full gauge allows for a psycho boost. This lets the killer chain a second knee press leap in any direction immediately after the first, mimicking the high-mobility EX moves found in the Street Fighter series. Then there is the concept of reversals, or drive impacts, mechanics designed to absorb an opponent's hit and punish them for trying to fight back. The perk Drive Impact Hell Twist adapts this by granting a token every time the killer is stunned by a pallet or a survivor's perk. Each token increases pallet breaking and generator damaging speed by 10, 15, and 20%. This scales the killer's efficiency, reducing the time spent on environmental interactions and getting them back into the hunt sooner. The Undisputed perk targets altruistic survivors. If someone takes a protection hit or uses a flashlight blind, they become the exposed obsession, turning a defensive rescue into a lethal mistake. These mechanics ensure that the very actions a survivor uses to defend themselves ultimately fuel the killer's offensive power. These abilities translate Bison's combat style, but they also reflect the narrative implications of his power. In the established lore of the game, the entity is a cosmic god that usually has to coerce or trick its killers into service. M. Bison subverts this. He marched into the fog of his own accord, viewing this realm of eternal pain not as a prison, but as a fresh recruitment ground for Shadaloo. This arrogance is present in the Scourge Hook's Shadow Forces perk. Unhooking a survivor from one of these hooks inflicts a radius of oblivious status on others and reveals the unhooked survivor's aura, projecting Bison's authority even when he isn't physically present. His Psycho Punisher execution provides the final thematic link. He lunges down, wrenches a flickering soul out of the survivor's body, and crushes it in his fist, treating a human life as disposable trash. The Dictator concept shows how a character's mechanical identity can be repurposed to recreate the specific tension of their original universe within a new genre. By adapting gap closing, meter management, and reversals into the trial, this design proves that a fighting game boss can be effectively transformed into the ultimate slasher oppressor.